Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV. After a fraught but successful 1-0 victory against West Ham, I'm joined by Dan the Man Mountney to discuss the player ratings. Really difficult 90 minutes. We really battled through there, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great performance, was it? But, you know, win's a win. Keeps the European hopes alive, so yeah.
Especially with the news that Wolves drew away to home to Brighton, so they only got the 1 point.
Yeah,
so it's quite handy for us as we're climbing upwards.
Yeah, what was Sheffield United score?
They won 1-0.
Oh, that is a shame. Got the game in hand, which is a shame it's against City on Wednesday. But you know, you never know. So the hope is still there. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Well, let's move on to the player ratings. We'll start with Ben Leno, who I thought today had a really great game.
Yeah, he's my man of the match. Yeah, 8.5. I thought he made.
That's one of your highest ratings for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he made a string of really good saves. One from Antonio in the second half, where he pushed the ball away. It was behind him. It was a brilliant save. Thought he commanded the box quite well. Came out for a number of crosses. Decent performance. Good to see him back to his best after the howler he had against Olympiacos.
Yes.
So, yeah, 8.5, my man of the match.
Well, I think that's rightly deserved. I think let's move on to the fullbacks next. We've got a bit of a obviously strange with Socrates on the right back. But
Socrates at right back. Although, I mean, I tweeted this before the game. I thought he would kind of drop in and make it more of a 3 and Saka would push on, which is what happened. Didn't expect him to get forward much, he didn't. But I thought he defended fairly well, so 6, you know, fairly solid enough performance.
Actually, he's quite solid, because I think, you know, he does look a little bit lacking of pace. But
yeah, I mean, I didn't think he was ever going to get forward. We saw it from Arteta kind of early on in his reign when Maitland-Niles was playing right back. He more kind of moved inside as an inverted full-back to make a 3. And yeah, I thought that was what was going to happen. It did, and it worked to an extent. They kind of neutralised the aerial threat of West Ham with the 3 of them there. So yeah, decent for Socrates.
No, on the left back we had Saka. I thought he had quite a good game today going forward, but I think he was just sort of lacking a bit of supply.
I gave him a 6. I thought he did okay going forward. There was a nice little bit where he came inside and fed Nketiah. Did his defensive work fairly well, so yeah, 6.
Fair enough. Centre backs, we'll start with David Luiz. I thought he had a really good game today.
Yeah, I gave him a 7. Yeah, I thought he was really solid at the back. I think he might have been disappointed with the number of chances West Ham were allowed, but I think that was more to do with the lack of midfield cover at times. I thought he did fairly well. He continues to keep playing well and keep having decent performances. He really has kind of relished in that leadership role under Arteta. We've said that before, and he's looking like he's improving. So 7.
And obviously we had Pablo in his Premier League debut. I thought he looked really impressive today, and his passing skill was very, very nice to see.
Yeah, 7.5 for him.
Solid.
As you say, Premier League debut, looked really comfortable defensively. I thought it was really good second half at the back. But yeah, as you say, that passing, the playing out from the back, he looks really, really good at doing that.
Imagine if he had that at the start of the season. Yeah. If he could actually play out from the back at the beginning of the season, we'd be in a very different position.
Yeah, I mean, his future's obviously up in the air. He's obviously only on loan to the end of the season, but if he keeps playing like that, I don't see why Arsenal shouldn't take a permanent deal. I mean, it's a bit premature to say that. He's only had 2 starts now, but yeah, decent, promising. Very so nice. Yeah, 7.5.
And on to the next, we've got your next rating. Let's move a bit forward. Let's go midfield. I want to talk about Ceballos. He's another lone player. I thought he actually had a really good game. I was very happy with him today.
What would you have given him?
I personally would have given him like a 7.5.
I gave him a 6.5.
Yeah, well, not far.
I thought he didn't really do a lot going forward, but I think that was more down to the fact that the options in front of him to pass to were limited. There was a number of points when he was looking around, waving his arms around in frustration because he didn't have anyone to pass to, basically. But yeah, I mean, his defensive worked quite well. I mean, there was a number of points when he was kind of sitting deeper than Xhaka. We've seen him do that, and he swept up a few times, which is good to see. It's nice to have a midfielder who can do, everything fairly well.
Yes,
I feel like he's quite an all-round midfielder. So yeah, 6.5. Maybe could have bumped it to a 7, but.
So a player in midfield that I thought didn't have a good game was Xhaka. I thought Xhaka had quite a poor game today. He gave the ball away quite a few times. He looked a little bit weak in terms, and also one thing I hate is when he shoots from distance, because we've got possession of the ball. Just keep possession.
I don't think it particularly helps when the crowd are egging him on and always shout and shoot.
I know, but it annoys me intensely when that happens, because we lose possession to a shot that you really think isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But what did you give Xhaka today?
6.
I think it's quite high for him.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think more 5.
I thought it was just okay. I just didn't really do a lot, did he?
I think 5 would be more
fair enough, yeah. I mean, it was a quiet performance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As you say, he gave the ball away a few times, but he does, help keep possession moving and keep the play moving.
I think a player that did have a very quiet first half and really sort of got into the game was Ozil. He's once again sort of quite anonymous first 45, but then really got into it second half, obviously getting the assist.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really kind of deft header, wasn't it? I think a lot of players in that position maybe would have panicked and tried to bring it down, but he just cushioned it nicely. Knew that Lacazette was onside. Obviously, we'll come on to VAR. But yeah, 5. Thought, as you say, was a bit anonymous for most of the game, but the assists kind of shows what he's really good at, just having that composure in the final third when he needs it. So good to see him get an assist. But yeah, pretty anonymous for the rest of it, so 5.
Then we've got the attacking lineup. I'll start on the side with Pepe, who I thought looked, his feet, they just dance around. It's absolutely incredible what he can achieve with such little space.
Yeah, I mean, I gave him a 5. I thought he looked dangerous throughout. But the thing that really frustrates me is he doesn't use his right foot. He's so one-dimensional, and defenders know where he's going all the time. And it makes him really easy to mark out the game, and kind of you get a couple of men on him and he can't really do anything.
Yeah.
And I think he sometimes lacks the awareness of who's around him and when to pass it, and that kind of understanding and making better decisions, he needs to develop that. And
yes.
Arteta spoke about that in his presser. Me and Leif will discuss that in the view from the press box video. But yeah, there are certain areas where he can improve, but I think we've said plenty of times next season's going to be a season. So yeah 5.
I think the other side we had Aubameyang playing on the wing, which once again I think I'd rather play him through the middle. But
he did come a lot more inside, didn't he, as the game went on. I didn't think he was great today. 4.5. I mean, a lot of that was down to the fact he lacked the service that he needed. If you're not going to get the ball to him, he's not going to be able to do anything, is he?
Because West Ham were really sort of choking that midfield. They were really making it difficult for us to actually play the ball out, and it was quite an impressive display from them. But I thought Aubameyang looked a bit bereft of any chances.
Yeah.
And obviously we had Eddie Nketiah playing in the middle. I thought once again he had quite an anonymous game.
Yeah, 4.
4. I think it's probably fair.
I think a lot of what he does relies on his movement in the final third, and I think the only point where you really saw that was when he had that chance where Saka played him through, but he wasn't moving enough to create openings for other people and create openings for himself. I seriously don't know what to think about it. I don't. I think there's times when I look at him and go, yeah, you're really good at finding that space and taking the chances when you get them. But I don't know if he offers a lot else. You look at, we'll come on to Lacazette, obviously, who came on to replace him. I think Lacazette offers a lot more in terms of his link-up play. We've seen that, and we've spoken about it many times. But yeah, Nketiah doesn't really have that. He doesn't hold the ball up very well either. There was a point in the first half when he got hustled off it, and Harlow had that chance where Leno had to come out and smother.
Yes.
So I just need to see more from him in terms of his all-round play. So it's 4.
Well, we'll move on to Lacazette next. He was the first sub that was made. He obviously changed the game when he came on, didn't he?
Yes, cometh the hour, cometh the man. He took his goal fairly well. I was a bit of panic when Ozil headed the ball down to him, and I thought he's going to put this over, isn't he? But yeah, he put it in the corner, took his chance well. I think he did, as I say, change the game when he came on. Obviously got the winning goal, but he added that bit more energy, and he was driving at them and holding the ball up better, which shows he brings stuff that Nketiah can't, as we mentioned. So 8 for him.
8's quite good. I mean, I still think he's lacking a little bit of pace, but what I loved most was after the VAR decision was given a goal, he really celebrated with such gusto, and all the players jumped on him. I think there's a real camaraderie there, and they all really want him to sort of push on really well, which I think is a really nice sign to see.
Yeah.
But a player that came on for Ozil, Reece Nelson, I thought he looked quite sort of darting, quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Both defensive duties and offensive duties.
6.5 I gave him. I thought, as you say, he was making those darting runs, wasn't he? And he was trying to drive Arsenal forward. And I think he did have an impact when he came on. There was a bit more impetus, and that he's happy to go down the outside. Yeah. Obviously, he's right-footed on that right-hand side, and he's happy to go at players rather than drifting inside, as Pepe was doing. I'm a big fan of his. I thought he played really well at Portsmouth on Monday night. I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him. He just needs more minutes.
Yeah, and
and as we said before, I think the end product needs a bit of work as well. But that, he's still young. That will come with time. But yeah, bright future ahead and decent enough when he came on.
And the fans were really, really behind it. There was a lot of enthusiasm when he came on. When we saw him warming up, everyone was quite pleased to see him. So he's definitely a bright spark for the future. Yeah, Bellerin obviously came on, but I don't think he played for enough time to get a rating.
I didn't give him a rating. Yeah, he was on for a couple of minutes. So,
all right, we'll move on to Arteta. What would you give Arteta's rating today?
Oh, tough question that, Serge. Give him a 7.
Yeah, because I think it was a tough game. West Ham, even though their position they're in, they look quite low down, but they've made some real struggles for some of the bigger sides.
Yeah,
I thought we managed to break the momentum down quite well today.
Yeah, I mean he keeps getting results, and I mentioned this. I think I tweeted this before the game, that he keeps finding solutions to problems that he's having in terms of both during the game and in terms of his selection. I think we mentioned Socrates playing at right back and how he'd come in and form a 3, and someone mentioned that that's due to the fact we don't really have that defensive minded midfielder. But it's good that he's finding solutions to that. Yeah, he knows he doesn't have that defensive minded midfielder, but then he's making it more solid by having 3 central defenders.
Yeah.
So, as I say, he's finding ways to work out his team lineup and his selection, and he made the subs at the right times and they had an impact. So yeah, promising signs continue under Arteta, and I think that's 8 unbeaten in the league in a row now. So,
which is mad.
Hopefully,
really.
we're on the up.
Hopefully.
7.
The last rating, we never normally do it, but what did you give Martin Atkinson today?
2.
I thought it was genuinely dreadful refereeing.
We've not had a good time with referees lately, have we? Obviously, Mike Dean at Portsmouth on Monday, a very questionable decision in terms of just everything he did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Martin Atkinson was the same today. But, we got the win, so that's really all that matters.
Yeah, because there was just one point where I thought, when Lacazette was being handled in the box and it wasn't even considered given or looked at.
No, VAR did look at it. But,
from where we were, it seemed pretty soft. But we'll discuss VAR on the podcast, no doubt.
Yes, I'm sure we will.
Well, that's all from me and Dan with the player ratings. You'll have more videos following up shortly with Lath and Dan going through the presser and some match reactions.